let's go over the process of building the desk real quick for you guys. You guys can kind of take a look at it together. So this was the before picture. Actually, I ordered this and it arrived while I was building the desk, just the mouse pad. It's a really, really big, nice, full desk mouse pad. Let me make this right size so I can reach at. There we go. And go this side. Alright, so this is what it was like before. Had some drawers here, just a few things. ESO down. ESO was down just a bit ago. I don't know if it still is. TRG AoE 3. I have been intending to show the process of building this desk for a little while. Finally got a new one, so feel free to stick around for a little bit and ask any questions. There's several people that were wondering, like, building the desk, the process of it, and why I did things different ways and whatnot. So, as it is, there's obviously, it's a very small desk. This was my wife's desk before computers were popular. Like, personal computers were popular. So, like, 95 or so. And it was just for schoolwork. And that was it. So it did its purpose and then some. But yeah, some drawers on the left hand side. Got here. You know, let me do it like this. One sec. Let me do it like this. Alrighty. You guys can see a bigger picture that way. Alright, so yeah, yeah, they've got a little bit of file boxes and whatnot. We tried to do what we could, make it work as well as possible, but yeah, it was rough. And then yeah, just, you know, computer way off to the side. We had to do it like this just because of the size of cords and everything, and it wasn't very ideal, but it worked, kind of. I really wanted to get extra lighting, but I had nowhere to put them, and having the mic here and the way it was set up was not very ideal either. There wasn't very much room for the keyboard or the mouse. It just wasn't ideal by any means. So definitely want to get a new desk. I've been wanting to build a desk for like 6 years now. I just didn't. I'm very frugal, so I didn't see a need. It was more of a want. So as it came down to it, we kind of just decided it would help out the streaming process and everything a lot. So we decided to do that. This is the boards that I selected. This is Poplar, my family's cabinet shop. As you can see, lots of room and lots of stuff going on. But yeah, Poplar. Poplar is not a common wood to be used to be visible at all. It is very it's fairly soft wood, and most people don't like the grain at all. But as you'll see, it has some redeeming qualities, and there's a lot of things that I like about it too. All right, so this is another picture of it when I cut down some of the boards. You can see there's some pretty nice grain there, and I laid it out so that the grain would flow well together. Once it's all glued up, it's really hard to tell a difference between different pieces of wood. So when you lay out wood like this, make a top or something, you have to do something like that. Additionally, this is the boards that I selected out of. This is the Poplar boards. These are some alder boards. I believe there's some more alder up here, but I selected the Poplar boards. I picked through and picked the nicest grain, so I went with that, and that's how I arrived at these. And then after I took these, I situated them and turn them upside down, flip them around so that I got the grain lining up as well as it could. And then on to the next part is the drawer banks, the drawer fronts. So I have drawers. I have a couple file cabinet drawers, and I also have 3 other drawers to the side. By the way, if you guys have any questions during this time, just feel free to ask. I don't know where all y'all are in understanding everything I'm saying, so feel free to ask whatever. So then this was cutting down the drawer fronts to, it came in really long pieces and fairly thin. I needed to glue them together to make longer pieces, to make taller pieces and make it work better. So I was just cutting it down and making them the right size, and I was going to glue them together. And you can see that. I had to cut them down because there are some live edges like this, and you don't always want live edges, depending on what you're going for. I was not looking for a live edge there. This is the process. This is a board on end, actually. It looks a little bit confusing, but there's a board on end, and I'm gluing it up, bring all the glue to the top, so that when it's glued to the next piece, you can see barely a little bit of glue spots right here. That's 2 pieces of the wood already glued together. So you want to bring the glue to the top so that there's no gaps, so that it looks seamless. So that's what I was gluing together, and then using the bar clamps to press them together really well. So I put glue on it, bar clamp, had an extra piece here so that I wouldn't damage the wood with how tight I was tightening the bar clamps. Another really important thing is that you have bar clamps on the top and bottom so that it doesn't bow the wood one way or the other. So yeah, that's what I was doing with that. This is the top. You can kind of see the shape starting to take place there. And yeah, it's not sanded very well. I think that's what I was trying to show with this picture. I don't know if you can see it, but there's little like ridges. This is fairly like this straight from the sawmill, basically. So you gotta shape it and sand it, and that's what I'm doing with this is called a belt sander right here. It sands really, really fast, especially poplar. This is a desk. I built the desk. I also built a table, if you're curious, Lookin. You can see that in the basement tour on YouTube. But yeah, this is me building the desk. I did have Nanny Walla helping me, actually. He did a lot of the sanding. He didn't use the belt sander much. It sands so fast, and it takes a lot of skill to do, so I didn't do that. Yep. I am a master carpenter, if you will. I'm a 4th generation carpenter, and I own my own business doing custom furniture and whatnot before other things happened in life. This is we call them boxes. So this is the drawer bank. This is where the drawers will go in. This is the process of building them. I glued them together with. So this is actually pre-finished wood, just the one side. We banded an edge on it. Yeah, I used to have my own custom furniture company, Wound Healer. I don't. This is my family's cabinet shop. I can use it though. It's not very close though. So yeah. Anyways, I glue it together and I staple it together, and that's kind of the process of building the desks. There's a lot more that goes into it. You got to put top stretchers is what it's called, some middle stretchers. Yes, Cookie Run. I did not change my camera. I changed my lighting, Cookie Run. That's one of the things that building this desk allowed me to do. I do live in Texas, Lincoln Sing. Yeah, thanks, Cookie. I tried really hard. Yeah. Texas Longhorn. Yeah, Texas Longhorn, Nanny Walla. He actually he helped me do some of this. So it's he didn't see all this process. He was there just one day, but yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, so there's the top stretchers, the back, the middle stretcher to put in, some kick, sanding it all, routing it. There's a lot of process that goes into it. He did Cookie. Yep. I picked him up Saturday, and then he helped me sand a lot. You've been in Texas 3 times? Yeah. Yeah. All right, so the next process, this is the drawer fronts, and this is one piece that is finished with the sanding and the routing, and and piecing together. You can see I even put the drawer fronts close together to try to hide the seams as much as possible. This is 2 different pieces of wood right here. There's one. There's a seam right here. You can barely see it. There's a second piece of wood. Nannywall is not a builder. He just wanted to help me. Can I get you a job? Yeah. But you can see at the top, which is the most visible, it's very hard to distinguish the 2 pieces of wood. So really good builders are able to use the grain to their advantage and make it look really good. So this is more well constructed box. By the way, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Like I said earlier, I don't know where y'all are in this process and how well you're understanding what I'm saying and whatnot, and if you have any questions, so please ask if you have any questions. These are file cabinets that I did. They have to be just the right size, like width-wise, so from here to here. And I made them as deep as possible for the desk. It's 2 inches more. It would have been too long, and I made everything as precise as possible. I try to make things as functional as possible, and there's a lot of measurements that go into everything. There's also the height of it. You got to make sure that the tabs from the files are going to be able to clear, and you've got to work with a file, make the drawer, or figure out the dimensions of the drawer, then the box, then the finished end, then the whole top, and then you have to build it backwards, kind of. The top to the finish end to the drawers, all of that. It's very complex. But yeah, these are some file cabinets I did. We didn't have any file cabinets previously. This is some of the finishing process, the sealant that we put on. My wife is helping me. She's awesome. So we use something called Rubio Monocoat. It's a really, really new type of finish. It only has been around for a little while, not very long. I think a couple years. And basically, you put it on, and it sets within 2 to 15 minutes. If you put some hardener in it, which is really good to keep it waterproof, it sets within 10 minutes. So you have a very short window of working with it, but it's a 1-coat process, and it bonds with the wood and hardens the wood, actually. So it pretty much makes the wood impenetrable to UV rays, to water, to just different things like that. So that's what she's doing here. We started with the edges, and then I used a special piece. It's actually meant for Bondo, but I used that to spread it around all of the middle. It doesn't work on the edges very well, so that's why we started with the edges, doing that first. So this is a finished end. I'll show you where that sits on the desk in a bit. This is an example of why it's really important to sand. This is the back side of a piece. When you're building something, you're always paying attention to what is shown, what the final product is shown. So it's somewhat unnecessary to sand the bottom side, back side of something that you'll never ever remotely see. So I sanded a little bit, but just not very much. But you can see all the little ridges here, and what it looks like beforehand. Nannywall has sanded a lot, and he did most of the sanding on this job, actually. So most of the surface area, at least. So yeah, he was really, really helpful, and it's really important to sand. And this is what it looks like after it's sanded. You can see there's no ridges. This is the top side of the piece, and it looks a lot better, a lot clearer. It just looks a whole lot better. By the way, this is a clear coat. It's meant to bring out the natural quality of the wood, and it's not a stain per se. If it's a stain, these show up 10 times more. So it's really important to sand really well when you do it. Sanding is something that carpenters in general dislike a lot, along with painting. But this is some of the grain of the piece of, it is the same piece of wood, just this piece and this piece, just different sides of it. And this is the piece that I put up. You can see, this is the kind of the finished product here. You can see this is the finished end that you saw my wife and I putting the sealant on. Everything has sealant at this point, but this is everything assembled. The file cabinets, 3 drawers on the left, finish end, finish end. There will be finished ends on both sides. We didn't have materials at the shop, so I'll just have to do it at another point. Had a little shelf here for the tower, so that wasn't sitting on the ground and collecting extra dust underneath the fans and whatnot. So yeah, everything I build is as functional as possible. I care a lot about function. These are called grommets. I placed them in so that cords could go up and through. This up here was intended for the mic stand to attach to, so it'd be up and out of the way more. Additionally, it's a little bit of a shelf. I can put things above. I can put things up there. And also, I was wanting a nice place to put my headphones out of the way, and I can hang that off the side. So, a lot more room here. It looks a lot better. And you can kind of see the back here too. But yeah, it's a lot of work that went into it. But this is somewhat of the finished product. And there's another picture of it. Yeah, you can see this is as close as possible pretty much to the back side. Tower will fit barely there. It's barely enough room for the drawer, and then barely enough room for the desktop. And let's see, you can kind of see, not really, there's a few inches to go here till this doorway is covered up, and I wouldn't be able to close the door that I'm standing in right here as I take this picture. So it's everything. I didn't measure the width of this room, if you will, before I built the desk. I intended to. I forgot. I built the wall. This was originally a much larger room. There was not a wall right here. I built this wall, and I remembered the dimensions of the stud, the bottom stud I put in from like a year ago. That's my photographic memory in play, but slightly photographic. I remembered the dimension of that, and so I remembered, I knew what to make the desk based off of a dimension that I remembered like a year ago. So, yeah. Yeah, that's all the dimensions of everything is meant to fit really well. This will work really well wherever we move to a new place, as long as there's enough room. It will be, it can work either in a corner against a wall without walls on either side. It can work really well. I did like the little bit of a wraparound desk. It allows you to have a lot more surface area to work with. I can put papers off to either side. I also really wanted it because I wanted it wide because I could put my lights up, which you see. Same picture. Well, this is the file cabinet. You can see that a little bit. Lights up. So yeah, the lights on either side. This is the layout of everything and how I have everything set up. This is with the lights on. It's somewhat bright, as you can see, but that's what allows for the really good quality camera. So yeah, this is the finished product basically. You guys have any questions at all?